Hello everyone, my name is Philip from Scan Unlimited. Today I wanted to show you guys at least my method of sourcing wholesale products to sell on Amazon. There are three main ways to sell on Amazon that you might have heard of. So the first one's going to be your retail arbitrage, which is basically when you buy something from, let's say, Walmart or Target, like the actual store, and then you sell that on Amazon. And a lot of times they have like these apps you can buy on your phone, and it'll tell you the profit. There's a huge problem with retail arbitrage, and that is that it's not very scalable. You can only, there's only so much time you have in the day to go to these stores and be sourcing from these stores. And also, if you find something really good at like Walmart or Target, then you are limited by how much stock they have. So you can clear out their whole shelf and maybe drive, I don't know how many miles away to go to the next Target or Walmart, but you can only buy as much as they have, and never more than that, or at least without a lot of difficulty. And then the second way that I hear a lot of people, it's probably one of the most popular methods of selling on Amazon, would be your private label. So what do I mean by private label? I mean sourcing from China, or usually it's China because the popularity behind Alibaba. And basically you're gonna talk to a manufacturer and develop your own brand, your own product, where you find there is a lack of supply for a specific product. So usually you're trying to find a niche, something that's maybe you see that there's a lot of demand on Amazon for, but you don't see people coming up with products to fulfill that demand. The third way, which is my preference, and I think a lot of people don't really go this path, and that is the wholesale route. And what I mean by wholesale is you're not selling the products on Amazon at wholesale, but rather you are purchasing from a manufacturer, a well-known brand. Think of any brand that you might already know of, and you purchase from them at a wholesale price to then sell as a retailer on Amazon at the retail price. So kind of the more traditional supply chain that we've all known for a long period of time. And I think that this is probably the most intimidating method of selling on Amazon because it requires a lot of interaction with companies. Instead of maybe just going to Walmart or Target, you go to the shelf, you put everything in your cart, you take it to the cashier and you check out, or even on Alibaba, because you have like the internet essentially as like a wall, a shield. You send these messages to these vendors on Alibaba, they produce it, and then you get it in the mail. You don't most of the time you're not really talking on the phone. With wholesale, it's pretty difficult to not talk to someone, especially just like in person or on the phone. There are ways to, and I'm not even trying to say like avoid it. Like maybe this is not a big deal for you, but I think that's a big reason why people maybe shy away from it. And they also think that maybe it's not for them because it's only for big companies, and that's just not true. So today I wanted to get going and show you how, first off, we're going to find a supplier that we can purchase wholesale from as a retailer. And remember, small requirement here, you have to be a company, and that means like getting your EIN number, registering with your Secretary of State, whatever state you live in, actually be a company, have a bank account for your company. I feel like I might not even have to say this, but I'm gonna say it. So once you have a company, you're ready to go. Basically, you have the ability to purchase from a company, a wholesale company. So with that out of the way, let's talk about just sourcing in general. And this is one way of doing it. There are many other ways to do this, but this is kind of just one way to kind of approach all. So I'm gonna pull up a company that I know of. They're called Q Squared. And I guess this is like some sort of Shopify store. Anyway, I know that they sell wholesale. So you can purchase their product retail But that's not what I'm talking about. We don't want to do that. But we want to buy wholesale. I don't have their phone number. I don't have their contact information. But we have a website and a name. That's all we know of. Honestly, it's actually not that difficult to find information. A lot of the times, like on a website, there will be a contact us, or maybe even better would be like a wholesale portal, which is usually a link for people that already have an account will go to reorder. So if you click it, and in this case they're checking if you're a store, so you want to say like you're a store. And look at this, an email right here. Basically, the first step is just finding information about the wholesaler. Get an email, get a phone number, get a name, something, and that's your first step. And at this point, now that you have the email, it's as simple as stating, "Hello, my name is Philip. I represent company name Scan Unlimited, and I would like to purchase your product to sell at my store." And then they will reply with, "Can I please have your EIN number?" Which, like I said, you should have that. And usually that's basically it. They're gonna want some just details to set up your account. So like, where's your address, etc. Now, once you've set up an account with a company, now the question is, how or what do I buy from them? How do I know if it's even worth it, right? A lot of the times, I don't even create an account with a manufacturer until I get an electronic product list or Excel. Basically, what I mean by electronic catalog is usually, back in the day, they had like these thick books where they would have all their products, and thankfully those days are gone. And they usually keep it in an Excel spreadsheet, or sometimes they just have it hosted on their website where they have all their products. So once you get the contact information for the company, don't even bother setting up an account really. I would just go ahead straight away, ask, "Can I please have your electronic catalog or Excel?" They'll usually know what you're talking about. You might need to help them along, be like, that file that has the UPCs and cost information. They'll get it. They'll usually send it to you via email. And I actually have one that I wanted to try out. Where did I put it? So here's the product list for the Q² company that we were looking at, and we got their email address. As you can see, it's pretty typical to see like an item number, a UPC number, a description of the product, quantity 1. For them, they're just saying that it's like, for this price, $14, you need to buy 4 at least. Now, your product list that you get from your wholesaler might be different. It might look different, actually, and honestly, it probably does look different. Every supplier does things differently, but you'll notice that each product list has a few things in common. One is the UPC column. They all have some sort of UPC, or more typically in Europe, which, by the way, Scan Unlimited now supports Europe. They have some sort of identifier to map to their products. Usually it's, again, UPC, EAN, or ISBN for books. And another thing that you'll typically see is an item number. So some number that once you find something that you want to buy from them, you can say, "Hey," let's say Q² or some company, "here's the item number I would like. I would like to purchase 12, 100, 1,000, something." So that's a good way to identify for the manufacturer to know which product you're talking about. And then the final thing is the price. Everything else is just extra. You don't need anything else besides those 3 pieces of information to effectively source wholesale at scale. In this situation, we don't have to do any formatting. But sometimes, I'm gonna insert some columns in here. Sometimes you'll see like the company logo, or they'll have their your address, you know, New York City, something like that. You want to make sure that when you're formatting your files, you want to get rid of that header. So now we want to take this product list and put it into Scan Unlimited. And we want to do that so that we don't have to do something manual. So typically you have to go through product lists manually, and that can be an extremely painful process. So let me give you an example of what I mean by that. So I like to use Inventory Lab as kind of like my calculator. And I'll give you an example. So let's say I grab this UPC, I put it into Inventory Lab. If you haven't heard of Inventory Lab, it's just like listing software and has like this research. It's very similar to like the add a product search on Seller Central, but it just has a calculator. I'm lazy, so as you can see, so it found the product by putting in the UPC. It has a rank of 165,000 in kitchen, not so great. It's going for $32.99 FBA offer. And let's see, I'm going to take a peek here. It's going for $14. That's the wholesale. 66.6% ROI with a $9.33 profit. That's a good item. Believe it or not, in the wholesale arena, it's all about scale. It's all about volume. It's not about getting 200% on an item. It's about being able to get that product in, make a profit, and then go source it again. Because the wholesaler, unlike if you were going to source something from China, is going to be in stock, most likely. It's going to be able to be delivered to you because the products are already in the United States, or you know, whatever country you're in. Usually you're going to source from some company from your country, and you'd be able to flip it again and again. And you can even avoid having large amounts of inventory because you are sourcing from a supplier that is nearby to where you live, somewhere in your country. Now, this is fine, but I don't know how many products are in here. Let's see. 251. This is actually a short file, but still, going through 251 products, yeah, not doing that. That's going to take way too long. So I'm going to show you guys an awesome way to get through these product lists, wholesale product lists, in a fast and efficient manner, so that you can not only just scale the inventory side of your business in the sense of like being able to bring them in, but also the sourcing side, the research. Being able to quickly identify what's good and what's not is important because your time is important. So we want to be as efficient as possible to go through these files, so that because you might not even want to even do business with a brand because maybe there's too many sellers. So you need to just cancel them out. And a quick way to do that is to use the Scan Unlimited scan feature, which takes product lists and does this stuff that we were just discussing with the Inventory Lab calculator, and it does that super fast. So I'm in my test account, and I'm going to show you guys how to take that wholesale product list that we were looking at and upload it directly into Scan Unlimited. So on every page, there's this green button on the bottom right hand corner. It makes it very easy to quickly get started. So you just click that button and you can drag and drop a file, or you can click to select a file. So I'm going to click, and then I'm going to choose the Q-square file that we were talking about. And then you're presented with this pop-up or this window. And this is probably the hardest part, and it's actually not that bad. So let's start with the top. So it's saying search by, and we have to pick either UPC, EAN, ASIN, or ISBN. If you remember, I'm going to bring this the Excel back up. If you remember the UPC column, so the product lists are represented by UPCs. So that's what it's asking. So we're going to select UPC. It's saying to give our scan a name, so I'm just going to call it Q squared NYC. Then there's a checkbox to say track in product feed. We'll go over what that is in another video because that can be a whole nother video in itself, but it's a great way to be able to constantly revisit all the items that you've scanned, and Scan Unlimited will tell you if anything has improved, because maybe something is bad today, but maybe in a week or 2 weeks something might become better, like the rank might get better or the ROI might improve. So next, the product ID column. So it's basically where are the UPCs. So you'll notice that these are all the header column names from the Excel. So remember, item number, UPC, description. So just to remind you, item number, I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. Item number, UPC, description. So that's what these are pointing to. So we want to map the column. So where is the product ID stored in? Right here in column B, and it's called UPC. So there it is, the second column, UPC. We're gonna do this the same thing with the cost column over here. And it was the quantity one price in US dollar. That was the column. You can also select your marketplace that you want to search in. In this test account, I'm set up for all North American marketplaces and all European marketplaces. So I mean, that's a lot of marketplaces that you can search this product list in, because it might not be good in the US or something like that, or Mexico, but it might be great in the German marketplace as an example. And so you always want to see what are your options. In this case, let's just go with the US marketplace. So I pick US. Here is where you choose your currency. Scan Unlimited supports 200 plus currencies, so it does not matter what you're sourcing your products in. I mean, we even support Bitcoin, so yeah, you can choose whatever you're buying your products in, any currency. So in this case, that product list was in US dollars, so we're going to stick with US dollar. Kind of going back up, the file has headers. All that's saying is, does the file have a row where the column names are? Because sometimes you might have a situation where like there's no header row, and in that case you would uncheck that box. But in this case it's there, so we're gonna say there's a row. So we'll keep that checked. And then here in the custom options, that's where you can select custom data that you think is important. So I like to use the item number. So remember what I was talking about, being able to easily like create orders with these companies. They're not so great at, like, you tell them I want this UPC, they'll have to look it up. But if you tell them an item number, they'll be like, oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. And so you can make like a purchase order. And we'll have another video on how to create purchase orders. There's many ways you can do it. But it helps you stay professional, and it also avoids any kind of conflict that you might have with the manufacturer. So I'm going to say item number to help me make my order, and then I guess the quantity requirement, remember it was like 4 for the first one, so it's nice to have it there, and that's it. I'm going to press start, and that's really all you have to do. So that was very quick. Scan Unlimited can search a file up to 30,000 items per hour. So that is a lot of sourcing research that you can do in a very short period of time. And all you have to do is upload these files. They can be massive. I mean, 20,000 lines, it'll go through that in less than an hour. So very powerful. Here's what a scan looks like after it's been processed. So right off the bat, one great thing about Scan Unlimited is that it's in the browser and it's not in an Excel format. And I like that a lot because I find that Excel is really messy and unnecessarily confusing for most people. So the fact that it's in a browser is very, very handy. And that also means that all my scans are in one place. So I can go back to Scan Unlimited from any computer, even my iPad, and I can pull up any scan that I've run in the past. So This is what it looks like. If you remember, we had it was a UPC identifier, so not EIN or ISBN. It was a UPC column and the cost column. So it was brought in here. And remember the custom columns we picked. Here are the item numbers, and here's the minimum quantity that they had for that certain pricing tier. And then everything to the right is data that Skin Unlimited has pulled for us. So ASIN, so that's a good way to be able to identify which product on Amazon it matched it with. The sales rank, super useful for calculating the demand of a product. The title, self-explanatory. The brand, they should all be Q-squared in this case. The category that's in, which is really important to pair with the sales rank. The buy box price, the number of offers, the Amazon fee, as well as the return on investment, or for short, ROI. I'm going to step you through how I work through a scan to be able to identify which products I would like to purchase. The number one thing I do is sort by sales rank. So even though this is not Excel and we're in the browser, we're still able to do the same kind of things you would be able to do in Excel. So like I can sort by sales rank just by clicking. If I want to sort by sales rank in the opposite direction, I can click again, and the highest sales rank is now at the top. I'm going to switch it back because I want to see the best ranked items at the top. And there's also the filtering ability. So if I want to search for a certain item, maybe I think I saw 83813. So yeah, so you have the ability to filter as well. Any information in here. So now that we have it filtered by sales rank, the item at the very top shows us which item from this specific company, from that product list that we uploaded, what is the product that sells the most units on Amazon. I mean, let's think about that for a second. We barely did anything. We got an Excel file, we uploaded it to Scan Unlimited, it processed in 5 seconds, I think it took. And now we sorted it by sales rank, and we already know what their best product is. I can go to them and say, this item 83813 must be your best seller, and I will be right, most likely. Unless for some reason they're selling it better at brick and mortar, but usually Amazon's a good way to tell what's the best seller. And so what I do is, obviously we want to sell the item that sells the most. That's one of the great benefits of selling wholesale. You don't have to create demand. Private label, you have to create demands. Wholesale, you don't. They market, they advertise. You don't need to tell people what Legos are. They just know what Legos are. People are actively looking for Legos. So I'm looking for the one that has the most amount of sales. So here, this one, like we said, it has the most amount of sales. It's selling for $42.99. That's the buy box price. And I can buy it from Q-squared, from that product list, for $21. That means with the Amazon fee, which is also calculated for us right here, $11.92, that would still be a return of that would still be a return of 48%. And the way it's calculating that is just taking the buy box price, which you would be, as long as you're the buy box price, you will make sales with this person, whoever is the one selling at that buy box price. So it's taking that price, subtracting out the fees, subtracting out your costs for the item, and that's how it comes up with the ROI amount. And so I usually just go down the list, and I'd say this one is a winner. I would definitely purchase this one because of the ROI being positive and the rank being pretty good. And I would go down to the next one. The second one has a decent rank, but the ROI is not doing so great, and I can tell it's because this is a 2-pack. So what that means is that the listing has 2 of these in the list, like the listing itself. So even though it says $5 my cost, it's actually going to be $10 because I need to buy 2 of them, bundle them together, and then ship them to Amazon to be sold. And so this company is not doing so great with ranks because typically, rule of thumb, I would not really pay attention to items that go above 200,000 rank. That's just not going to fit my business model. It might fit yours, but I'm giving you a rule of thumb because at that point you're not going to see enough turnover. And remember, with wholesale, the rate at which you turn over is super important. That's kind of the whole point. It's not where you're waiting months to replenish your inventory. You need to be able to purchase just enough, sell out, get more, and don't even sell out. I mean, you want to sell through as fast as you can, and then be able to quickly replenish before you even sell out because you don't want to miss out on those sales. So, in this case, in this situation, we would buy the one at the top. Maybe this one if this one improves, and you might be asking, what about these two? They're not, over 200,000 rank. They're still kind of high, and but they might have something. They might have some opportunity there. The price is missing on this one, and that usually means it's that Amazon took away the buy box. So I'm going to click the title, which will open up the listing, and yes, it says available from these sellers. And it's because Amazon thinks this person is priced too high relative to their algorithm. That could be a whole nother video. I don't know it. I don't think anybody will ever really know what they use, but typically they're just looking at other websites like Walmart.com and comparing them, and if it's too expensive compared to those sites, or maybe even just price history. But it might be an opportunity. Let's see here. If what was the cost on that? $14. So if the cheapest person, sorry, that was the other item. If the cheapest person was $32.99, you could gamble and say maybe Amazon would give up the buy box at $30. So that could be a good opportunity because that's about what would that be? $30 minus 5, 25 minus 15, so $10. It's about a 66-70% ROI. That's pretty good. So I hope this is making more sense, and I want to make more videos about how to buy wholesale products to sell on Amazon. And this is just like scratching the surface. I want to go more in depth about finding manufacturers, basically how do we, what's some strategies of going through these scans. I'm giving you a very basic overview of the easiest way to get started, and you can see right off the bat the first scan we found something that we could source. We could purchase this item at the top, and by the way, just to kind of go into maybe asking the question how many, I suggest looking at Jungle Scout. That's just my preferred method of checking that out. So you just go to the web page and use the Jungle Scout extension, and it's saying 71 sales a month. So you could, maybe you only want to hold 1 month of inventory. You would buy 71 of those, and you don't have to worry about buying a container. You don't need to buy 1,000 units. You can buy just the month and sell through that, and then start to replenish as you run out. And that's the great thing about wholesale. It's going to be ready to, the manufacturer is going to be ready to send it to you, and you're going to be able to replenish it even if it's just a few days notice, which is really great. Definitely something to be looking forward to. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please leave a like. And I plan to make a lot more videos about wholesale and selling on Amazon, and maybe even showing a little bit about how my operation goes and how I do things for Amazon. Please also consider subscribing, and then you won't miss any videos. And if you're interested in learning more about Scan Unlimited, please visit scanunlimited.com, and there's a bunch of information, but you're free to sign up there. And remember, it's free for everyone, and we always will be free. That allows you access to upload one scan per month. You can do that as many times as you want, and you have full access to the product feed, which will be another video. Stay tuned to that. But the unlimited membership will allow you to have unlimited access. So thank you very much for your support, and I hope to see you guys soon.